What is going on, everybody? So, Chucky has debuted, and me and the Knuckleheads are here to talk about episode 1. CP, how we doing?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, you moved. You moved on me.
Did I?
Yeah, you went down.
Yeah.
I hate going down.
There you
He
go.
went down on you. He went down on you.
I prefer to not go down.
Oh, man. Bryan, I would ask how
Yeah.
are you, but we're getting a visual of how you are.
Yeah, I feel like crap, but hey ho.
Sorry, buddy.
There you go. It's all right.
All right. Let me give me 1 second. Let me just
Okay. So today we're talking about Chucky,
There you
the
go.
first episode of the Don Mancini-led Child's Play TV series. Should be about 8 to 10 episodes, and it's on USA or Sci-Fi.
Yes. It's going to be 10 episodes. So I thought it was 8. I read 10 before, and then I was told 8, and then they're not listing all the episodes yet, so I went with 8 because it was going to end clean at the end of November and keep me from having to pay for an additional month of Hulu Live. But no, it's going to be 10. So, yeah, so
Dirty.
exactly. So we got the Don Mancini-led Chucky TV series. We've been talking about this thing for, it feels like 2 or 3 years now, because the year or so leading up to the remake, we were already knowing that the
Yeah.
show was going to
Yeah.
be coming.
Yeah.
Finally got it. Watched the episode last night. I want to go around and get everybody's expectations, because I know we're all varying degrees of Chucky fan. I know I'm the fanatic of the 3. I think Bryan likes it quite a bit. CP, if I'm not mistaken, you're a little bit lower on it than the rest of
Yeah,
us.
probably.
Yeah, because I remember Child's Play 2 being awful low a couple years ago when that 31 on 31 hurt my heart.
The
But
ending-
Bryan,
Someone who holds Friday the 13th in high regard.
listen, I'm
which
not saying I'm not a
means we don't
hypocrite.
need to hold his opinion in high regard. So,
Bryan, what were your expectations walking into this show, or at least this first episode? Were you excited for it? Were you expecting the worst? What were you
I think I was watching it out of duty mainly. I feel like my expectations were that Don Mancini had gotten to the point where he was literally just milking this thing now for whatever he could squirt out of it, because it was pretty much dead. It was certainly dead on arrival with Cult of Chucky, and I think what was the one just before that?
Curse?
Curse?
Curse. I think Curse showed promise that maybe he does still have something left in him, and then it's like, no, all right, that was a blip. Okay, fair enough. And then it was just like, yeah, I'm not excited by the series, but Brad Dourif to me is Chucky, so if he's lending his voice to Chucky, I will watch it, and that's about all my thoughts were going into it, really.
Gotcha. CP, what were your expectations walking in?
Yeah, just like Brian, on the heels of Cult, I was pretty low to zero.
Pessimistic.
Yeah, just and then when they were like shitting on the remake sight unseen before it came out, it's just like, guys, what are you worried about? Like,
Yeah.
you have your thing coming, so don't worry about
Yeah.
this shit. Just go. So that kind of freaked me out. So I guess it's the best way to go into something with low expectations, because you could only be impressed
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, I would be fascinated
Unless
to
you're
know.
watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I would be fascinated to know like all the details regarding that remake and the back and forth, because I still don't quite understand what all the issue was. I mean, obviously, if I know for just an ego standpoint, if you're the creator, if you're the one who's in charge, and somebody else wants to come and do it, I know that probably stings a little bit, but to me, it was only ever going to be positive. If the movie's terrible, well, then that just makes your stuff look so much better.
Right.
It's coming out. And if the movie's great, well, then the Chucky name is now in everybody's conscience, and it's healthy. So I don't know. I'd love to have a
George
conversation.
Lucas, he isn't.
Yeah, I would love to have a conversation with Mancini and all the actors, because all the actors are full of support of him too. I don't think any single one of them supported the remake, but I could be wrong. But yeah,
Right.
so my expectations walking in, I was cautiously optimistic. I didn't really care for this idea when it was first brought up, because I already kind of felt like going to VOD only was like the nail in the coffin. And then I was surprised by Curse, and then Cult was kind of what my fear was. And then when they went to TV, especially Sci-Fi Channel, which I'll speak under ignorance. I've never seen anything great out of Sci-Fi Channel, but I don't necessarily watch everything. I thought that was another nail in the coffin. So I was like, a TV series, like, are they going to be able to be rated R? Is he going to be able to be Chucky? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then the more that I heard about the show, and then by the time we got the first trailer, I started to be a lot more optimistic because I loved the design of the doll. To me, it looked the best since the first, handful of movies. As far as the classic design, not the scarred design. I liked the way that the story was kind of playing out. The trailer gave me some intrigue of where it might be going. And I started to think about it and said, for all the crazy shit that he did in Cult and went in all these different directions, now we can get multiple Chuckies. Now Nika is Chucky and she's back with Tiffany and all these, now Andy's on the hunt, but he's locked up and Kyle's going to be here. So many things. It's like, how are you going to follow this? Well, you could do it with a TV series a lot better than you could with another movie. So I've remained cautiously optimistic. Now, as far as our quick little thoughts on the episode, just like, a couple of brief thoughts before we start getting into all of the details, all the nitty gritty. I watched the episode last night, and save for a couple of things that we'll get into, I was really happy with it. If I had to put a number on it, maybe like 4 out of 5. I didn't see the point in giving a numeric rating for an episode, but I liked it. I liked the tone of it. I thought that Chucky was definitely Chucky. The Brad Dourif personality, the Brad Dourif voice acting was spot on, which was something that I was kind of lacking in Cult. I felt like that was his weakest performance as Chucky. So that felt like the writing and everything was back on track. Again, love the design of the doll. I was really intrigued with the characters that they've given us so far, namely the main one, which was Jake, I believe. Yeah. And they introduce a lot of things about him that, either reinforce certain events that happen in the episode or they could be explored later on that certainly have my attention. And it seems like there's going to be some suburban drama that's going to be uncovered throughout this show where, they're talking about the one that his aunt has a secret. And she even asks him before the end of the episode, like, what was that secret that you said that I had? That's going to come out eventually.
Jennifer Tilly.
So, and we get a phone call from Andy and all of that, which it was a good setup episode, in my opinion. CP, shit on it.
Yeah. If we're doing numbers, I mean, when I first watched it and got away from it, I was like 1.5 out of 5. But letting it sit a little bit, I'd probably go up to 2. And then if this were 15-year-old me, I'd probably do 3 out of 5. I couldn't help but fuck you, Bryan. I couldn't help but nitpick. I mean, I get it if you go into it just naked. If this is the first thing you ever see of Chucky, I guess it's all right.
Place to start.
Well, I mean, like, because here I am in Cult of Chucky mind saying, well, wait. Why is Chucky at this garage sale? How did this woman get him? Is he dreaming? Because there's that opening sequence that you get that POV shot.
Can I just say, don't forget, Cult of Chucky ends with Chucky going in multiple bodies, right? Yeah. And then we've got Andy phoning round, searching for all these dolls. So clearly all these dolls have ended up in various places. And Andy's
the eBay site, you could see there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Oh, so
just to answer that question,
there's a bunch of dolls, and that's just one of them.
Yeah. You didn't. Okay. Yeah. So you haven't seen Cult in a while. So by the end, Cult introduces this whole aspect to where Chucky can now enter multiple vessels, be it human or inanimate object. So at the end of that, basically Chucky wins. He gets his soul into Nika, who is Fiona Dourif. He traps Andy in this asylum. The Chucky Prime head, the one that's scarred and is decapitated from the end of Curse, is in the possession of Andy and Kyle. And now Nika / Chucky and Tiffany are all doing their thing. But yeah, since Curse, they've been sending Chucky dolls to different people in Charles Lee Ray's past that he's trying to fuck with. So that's
I didn't like that. I didn't like the retcon, but we've got that retcon. So the question, whether we like it, is irrelevant. The question is, now that we've got it, what do they do with it? And I think from the setup in this, I like it. I like the idea that Andy now has to find down every single one of these buggers and destroy them. So it's literally he's not just looking for this one Chucky doll.
Yeah.
it's his mission now to find every flipping Chucky doll, especially the ones that are showing signs of weirdness.
Well, if you're going by the
wiping them
TV
out.
show, it's just weird guy on the phone right now. I mean, we know it's Andy, but if you're going strictly by the TV show,
I mean, it's pretty clear it's Alex
no,
Vincent.
I know, but if this is the first thing you're seeing, it's just weird guy on the phone.
Yeah, but if this is your first thing that you're seeing, then it's pretty stupid.
I do not disagree. I'm just saying it from a technical standpoint.
It's like watching the first X-Files movie without having never seen the TV series and going, oh, this is crap, I don't understand anything that's going on. Well, of course you won't, because there's 5 seasons of TV before it. But yeah, it's for fans. It's a show made for fans by the creator of the thing. So any criticisms in that regard, I kind of disregard. So
that it was heavy on exposition in the front, telling us so much, or really telling us a lot up front. And the lead actor, our lead character, he's gay. You could have had some nuance with that, because it seemed like they were flirting with nuance for a little bit. And then he just...
You have to keep in mind too that Don Mancini is in the LGBTQ community, so
that's fine.
he's been putting that in, and this is obviously going to be his time to make it a main character and explore that. So I expected that walking in, to be honest.
No, it's fine.
I mean, my initial assessment when this first started, to be honest, is that I actually think this is of all the Chucky stuff that Mancini has done, and I think it is because it's within a TV show setting rather than a movie setting, is that it actually feels to me like his most personal work. I feel like because he's got so many episodes in which to flesh out characters and deal with an ongoing story, this feels most personal to me, because beyond being gay himself, he's also a staunch atheist. He's made many comments of his atheist beliefs, as has the guy who plays the dad, the twins,
Devon
Sawa.
Devon Sawa, yeah. So like Devon Sawa has been very, very vocal on his atheistic kind of tendencies. It's very interesting that these two should get together to make a show. But like the show literally opens with an aerial shot coming over this town with the cross, and then the main character's outright disregard for that. So this is a world we live in a world, according to this show, that is godless.
Wow!
It sets out the stall right from the start, So from like, regardless of my beliefs, whatever, that's the setup of the show. We start on, look, there is no God. This is the world we live in. Our main character is gay, and right there, the first two things that jump out at me. These are two things that are very personal to Don Mancini, that he's been very vocal about. So I'm willing to go along with that. I'm willing to see what does he do with that. What does he do with that concept?
My point is simply this is 10% of the story. You could pull that apart a little bit. Why do you have to front load it with like here's the kid, he's gay, he hates his father. It's like, well, relax. You got a TV show here. It's not even halfway through the first act of the show, and there's so much that's happened already. I mean, Chucky was front loaded. I felt like at the very least, I understand you have to show the damn doll, but they could have gone half an episode without showing him and set up the characters a little bit. I just feel like they spoon fed us. That's all.
Well, I feel like that's. Let's face it, Mancini ain't Shakespeare.
Well, yeah. When you said the cross thing, I was like, wow, that's giving him a hell of a lot of credit there.
It's not giving him a lot of credit at all. It's right there. He sets out the stall. These are the personal things I know about Mancini.
No, he's not really an auteur. I mean, the flat lighting is I mean, it's like a fucking sitcom the way he likes the show. It's just.
I think that's unfair, to be honest. I
Okay.
think when you go into the mansion, I think that's really nicely lit. I think there's quite a few. No, I disagree with you, to be honest, completely. There, I think you've gone into this with your complete criticism head on. Because we were doing this show tonight, so you wanted something to say, and it's like, actually, just back up a minute. I think you've been. If anyone should hate this, it should be me, because this is like the show literally starts with an attack against religion. So, I'm willing to go along, see what else he's got to say, see what he's going to do it. But to me, it does strike me that of all the Chucky stuff Mancini has done, instantly this felt the most personal to
I'll give
me,
you that.
given what I know about the guy. So he's trying, and I think dialogue isn't his strong suit unless it's words that he's putting into the mouth of Chucky, but I think that's easier because basically you've just got a doll that needs to be profane and just,
And awesome.
yeah. and that's funny, like the ventriloquist sequence was, that's, if you're a Chucky fan, you're going to get a kick out of that sequence, I would imagine. I laughed. I thought it was pretty good.
Do you think Brad Dourif had anything to do with that? You think? I mean, he's got to have free liberty.
I'm sure he ad libs here
Yeah.
and there, but
Yeah. But that's, to me at any rate, that's what I got from it. You got what is, for me personally, a much more personal story and a much better avenue with which to tell that, because it is episodic. It's going to be a much longer running time when all's said and done. And I think with TV, you are allowed to explore those issues a lot more than you are with a 2-hour movie, where they just say, look, allude to it, but don't go into it because we've got other stuff to do and we need to wrap it up in 2 hours. So, yeah. And beyond that, as much as I do not like Devon Sawyer as a... from a personal human being perspective,
Jesus
I actually thought
I
he
don't know
was
what
pretty
message
good.
boards you're finding all this info on, because I never see
I
anything
just
like that.
heard
He's got a list of everybody.
Yeah.
My hit list,
Atheist
my
Christian.
hit list, my atheist hit list. No, it's just, they're on my prayer list. No, look, it's I actually thought he was pretty good in this. Not, I mean, for a
I love
start,
Devon Sawa for his acting. Like, I don't know personally about him, but I
Yeah.
missed his movies from the 2000s. Idle Hands,
Right.
Final Destination. I mean, I grew up with that guy. So
You just don't get down with the biscuit. Is your problem, Brian?
well, he did pretty well here, I gotta say, as as two characters in which he's acting against himself in the same scene, which is, all respect to the dude. That's pretty hard stuff as an actor, I would imagine.
Was anybody else disappointed? I mean, we're going to get into more details regarding this character's downfall, but was anybody else disappointed that we only got one episode with 2 Devon Sawas?
Yes.
I was really looking
felt
forward
like a
to
lot
seeing
was
that.
left.
Yeah.
I can agree with you on that as far as that feeling like the gas was hit, because that was one of the only things that I really knew about the show going in, was that he was going to be portraying twins, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And then it's cut off by the end of the episode.
Like, give me their relationship too. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly. All right, a couple super chats really quick. So Rex Amended says, do you guys think we will lose one of the OG cast by the end of season? If so, who would you prefer to go most? I don't know what their overall plan is for the series. I don't know if it's just going to be isolated towns where one Chucky's in this town, we get rid of that, and then by the end of it, then they go find another one. But at some point, if I was writing the series, I think it would be cool to have Andy die and have Kyle be forced to put his body into a doll to save his soul. And now he's a doll. Brian, do you think we'll lose any OG cast, and who would you prefer to go, or do you think would go?
I have
So you
no
got
idea.
And
That you didn't look
Kyle.
into.
That I have no idea.
If they
I
were
just,
atheists, you'd have an answer.
I'm actually liking. Screw you, Speedy. I'm actually liking the. I didn't go that far down the line with the train of thought as to where it's going to go, but I do like what you just said there about being able to do a whole different town each season. Because if that's now Andy's thing, where he's got to find all these different dolls, you can tell a complete story each season.
Yep.
So this season we get Jake, his family, everything that happens there. The next season you go into a completely different family, and Chucky messes with them, and you get a completely different kind of response. And maybe even season 3, somehow the family from season 1 ends up kind of crisscrossing with the family from season 2. But no, I like that idea, and I think all within the first episode you get a lot of potential there with everything that's been set up. So yeah, from that alone, I've got to say I did really enjoy this first episode.
Cool. Now we got one of my other Chucky fanatics here. I can't help but think the main character is going to have multiple personalities or something. It's possible. If you looked at the coming soon on Chucky, they pretty much flat out told you that Jake at some point is going to be complicit in what Chucky's doing to a certain extent. So it's not going to be like Andy where he's scared or trying to stop him. He's going to be helping him get revenge on everybody he's doing for at least part of the season. So I'm intrigued. with that alone.
I think that a lot of that kind of feeds into the stuff with Jennifer Tilly's character as well, doesn't it? Because Chucky himself is one of those people who there's a lot of real life serial killers who are kind of double acts, who like one was very much a very strong personality that was able to kind of worm their little finger around the other person, and the other person got sucked into their personality and became very much like them. Certainly. I don't know if you guys know much about Fred and Rosemary West over in the UK, but very, very prolific serial killers. But that has a very element of it in that Rosemary West probably wouldn't have become a serial killer had it not been for Fred West, who manipulated her and kind of turned him like him. And I don't say that to let her off for anything she did, because she's clearly an evil woman. But it's just, I just feel like this kid is maybe a prime target for a mind like Chucky, who can turn him into a mirror image of him, I guess. But I don't think that's I don't think that's a multiple personality thing. I just think it's Chucky latching onto someone who is prime material for
broken
into a serial killer. Broken.
There you go.
Personality.
We had one super chat telling everybody the first episode's free on the USA YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So there's that. We got the Will Meister saying, I was also thinking kill Andy, kind of a John Connor thing. Don't say kill him like John Connor. The fans don't like that. And then to Brian's point, Thade Bays says, Don Mancini said in an interview that this is a very personal project and that the main character, Jake, is representative of himself growing up. So we're getting all of that.
Fan?
We're going, exactly. All right. I think we're caught up on super chats, I believe. All right. So, kind of getting into the events of the episode. So in classic Child's Play form, you get this doll. Like it just starts off, doesn't really waste any time, which obviously I think CP didn't really care for that approach where the doll's there, unexplained as of now.
They could backtrack, and I could certainly eat my words.
I'm sure they will.
Positive.
Well, if they'd have given us more at the start, spoon-fed us a bit more information,
Jesus,
instead of just waiting and dragging it out ACP. Maybe they could have done with giving us a bit more.
How much more are you going to do in the first episode?
Well, give it a chance and watch it, and you might see. You just making criticism that they spoon-fed us too much, and then why haven't they told us where this doll's come from? I need more information.
Watch the first episode of Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Lost, just all the classic TV shows, and tell me how much.
Mancini isn't Gilligan. Let's just say.
Well,
let's
then,
just leave it
then
at that.
what? Like, what are we supposed to be doing here? Are we going to okay, guys, let's kid glove it because it's Don Mancini? So
I'm not kid gloving it at all. I'm just throwing your criticism back in your face. You say they've just spoon fed you all this stuff, and then you're there bitching about how they've not explained the doll yet. Why haven't they explained why the doll is there?
Anyway, I think what we'll find out is by the end of the season, the person that put the doll there is this random cook that we've never found out that works at Christie's. One more super chat. Cool talk, guys. Love the work. Just to help add to the convo, what did you guys think of the usage of music in the episode? felt very modern kind of CW show, but I didn't mind it because I'm kind of just used to that being the approach nowadays. So
We're
I
all
was
past
okay
that
with
age,
it.
though.
There was, I think the choice of the songs was a case of like very literal. So there's, I can't remember what the song was, but I think it worked. For,
Where it's literally describing what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, so there's literally a song in it where it's essentially saying that he's becoming, he will become like a killer kind of thing, and it's just like, what she's singing is literally what's happening on screen emotionally and like inside these characters and stuff. So it worked, but like CP said, possibly a bit too heavy-handed in that regard, but. Just to throw you a bone, CP. Love you.
He ran out of daggers and tomatoes. Here's a bone. All right, so the episode starts. We get the doll into the character of Jake. Now, I want to talk more specifically about characters that we're introduced to into this show, because we haven't seen any of the OG characters from the movie yet. We've heard one, but as far as the characters that we're being introduced to that are going to be the main focus for the show, mainly the high school kids, Devon Sawa and all that. So what do you guys think about Jake thus far? So like I've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I feel like they did give quite a bit to chew on as far as his character. His mom's passed away. His dad's basically a giant wreck at this point, not a very good father. He's being portrayed as if he's still kind of closeted, but he's pretty heavy hints that he is gay. I even got the
he said the gay F word in it. Because when he had the fight with his father, he said, "You just don't like me because I'm a fag."
Okay, well, yeah.
Which is also the
they
gay F
danced
word.
around it for most of the episode, and I wasn't sure. Like, for a while, I wasn't sure if they were just making fun of him or if that was a legit thing.
No,
so I
he
was
comes out and
curious if
says
that
it.
was going to be something that was going to be explored throughout the series, or if that was just something that was going to give
Although-
more context to
Although,
his
to
hatred
be
for his
honest,
father.
when he said that to his father,
Yeah.
that could have just as easily been him saying
Pushing
that
his buttons.
to
Yeah.
push his buttons.
And that's kind of how I got it. So I think it's probably still going to be. I got the feeling that the kid that's doing the podcast, he has a crush on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I felt like that's
was-
something that's going to be explored throughout the series. So
They gave
nonetheless,
Yeah, but
They gave that kid the male gaze the whole time.
yeah.
All right. I mean, for Don Mancini, it's fantastic. I mean, holy shit, 10 stars. I have nothing else to critique. Wow.
I'm laughing with you, bitch. Calm down. You said the male gaze. I'm like, okay.
What is the name for it then? What was
I
the name
know.
for where they're
I
shooting
know.
it?
That's why I laughed. Chill. Talking about pushing buttons. Brian, push yours. Now hit the reset. Hit the reset. Hit the reset. I'm intrigued with him so far as a lead character, which is good because he could have easily been a character that I'm like, I don't care about this guy. Just bring in Chucky and Tiffany and let's just have some carnage. But I'm intrigued. As far as the other high school characters, not so much. I mean, I don't know. The cousin, I'm not quite sure what to make of him yet. He's either a total dick or he's going to be complicated. I'm not quite sure. The mean girl.
Lexi.
One of my biggest, Lexi, one of my biggest criticisms of this episode is that I kind of am tired of the trope of high school bullying and drama being like cranked up to 11. Like maybe there's high schools where that happened and maybe Don Mancini had that happen and he's pulling from his own personal experiences. But
It's more
my
subtle
experience
than
in
that.
high school, exactly. My experience in high school was not like that. And I have been bullied in the past and all in middle school and all that. So I know, but I mean, you got kids literally like physically assaulting kids in the middle of class, and the teacher's just like, "Get out of the classroom."
Yeah.
And that's all you get. And then a chick walks past her, the same teacher later on. She's like, "Oh, I need to stop smoking weed before I come to this class." And they're just like, and they don't do anything. And then they're at the talent show, and the girl's introducing everybody, and she's just berating the audience, like 9 people in a row, and they're just standing there watching her. But as soon as Jake comes up with the doll, they're like, "Oh, nope, time to get off the stage." So I get bugged whenever Hollywood tries to represent high school life, and I feel like they get it wrong. It takes me out of it. And Lexi was very much wrapped up into that. So I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be just a side villain or if she's going to be somebody that Chucky's going to kill and Jake's going to feel bad about, or eventually she's going to redeem herself and be Team Jake. I have no idea. And then the Devon Sawa characters, like I said, I was intrigued with that duality of those two characters and seeing him kind of exercise that acting a little bit. and I was a little bummed that we only got that first episode with him, but I thought he did a good job with both of them. So, as far as characters go, are you intrigued so far, CP, or is it just kind of waiting for more Chucky stuff and more the Andy and all them to come in?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went into this with all right, just wipe everything clean. Just it's a show. I mean, because I read something that Don Mancini said he doesn't like looking back. So I was like, all right, so I won't look back either. The characters of the characters, I'm curious to see more about the podcast show kid, and like that little dynamic between the cousin and the little triangle there with him, and I guess the cousin's Lexi's boyfriend or not, or like that's an interesting
or her crush or something.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there and how Chucky plays into that. Like you said, the Devon Sawa character, at least the father character, I hope there's more of that, because you really could have played off the the shitty relationship between his parent, or the dynamic between the brothers. So it felt a little ripped off there, but other than that, it seems like this show is aimed at teens, and it's pretty evident that the middle school kids are going to be the stars of the show. So I'm intrigued.
Bryan?
Well, my biggest criticism of the show is that it could do with a lot more subtlety. Like I like all the character dynamics. I love the setup. I see what Mancini's going for. I love the fact that he is telling a more personal story. I think that the story breakdown, if you look at that on paper, this is what needs to happen in each scene, to tell the story. I think that's a really great breakdown, really great story. It's the dialogue. The dialogue is often quite heavy-handed, and I find that, like the scene, the dinner scene with the two brothers, the two twins, the two Devon Sawyers. I'm just sitting there thinking, why the Fraggle Rock have these two even got together to have dinner? Because it's evidently clear
they hate each other.
They hate each other,
and the cousins.
And the kids, the kids hate each other. The wife clearly does not want to be there. I'm like, we've got family members that we've never particularly been enamored with. We don't go and see them.
Yeah.
They don't come and see us. We're certainly not going to arrange to have dinner with them to have a little chit chat. So it's just things like that would work a lot better with a bit more subtlety. So that there is an underlying kind of animosity there, rather than, but the characters they literally say it. They say, "I hate you." That is essentially what they're doing. I hate you too. You're a spoiled bitch, and I think you're a douchebag who always got what he wants. So there's no room there left to kind of discover what's going on underneath, because it's all on the surface. So yeah, story-wise, character-wise, setup-wise, I think it's some of the best stuff that Mancini's done. Unfortunately, it's Mancini, and he's not that subtle when it comes to dialogue. Like I say, it works wonders for something like Bride of Chucky, where the whole aim is to just be in your face, and just like, that kind of writing can be hidden greatly when you've got a setup like that, where it's all about being in your face, being as loud as possible, being as cheeky and as unruly as possible. Whereas here, he's trying to set up situations and story arcs that do unfortunately require a bit more subtlety than that, and he don't quite always pull it off. That's my only criticism, but I still really enjoyed it. Because I can see what he's going for. I like the setup, and I am intrigued to see where he goes with it. What's he going to do with these characters down the line? Who's going to get killed? And how badass is Chucky going to be?
He's already badass. I mean, that was the one comforting thing that I could say, like 5 stars. It's Brad Dourif's Chucky, and he gets to say fuck. So
yeah.
I mean, that I was worried about, genuinely worried about. Oh, are they gonna make a PG-13 Chucky? Because
That was the biggest thing I was worried about too. And then as soon as he walked away, he's like, "All right," or whenever they were signing off from
You're all assholes or
yeah,
something.
you're all a bunch of fucking assholes. See you later. I'm like, yeah, he's back. Gotta love it. All right, we got a few. Nathan Oswald saying Don Mancini is Vince Gilligan's like saying Rob Zombie is Aaron Sorkin. Do you think if this is a hit, we could see more horror classics go this route in the future? Not unless they need to. Chucky didn't have much of a choice, but we'll see. With streaming services and everything now, I mean, TV has reached the quality and sometimes surpasses movies. So
they did that with Scream, and Scream was fine, and they backed off from it.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, as CP's already pointed out, let's not pretend that Child's Play is the first out of the gate.
Yeah,
we've had Bates Motel, we've had Scream series, Hannibal.
Yeah, and they cut it on Hannibal, and everybody loved that show. So
we'll see.
I don't think this is a case of Child's Play creating a new. It's part of what has already been a stream of let's take a horror movie and turn it into a series. So.
Yeah.
Great talk as always, guys. Do you think more slasher franchises should take this approach and make it a TV show? So what we just said was if it will happen, but do you think any franchises you could think of should take this approach?
I think any of them could. Like just like I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like it's just any of those horror franchises would work. If you've got people who can come up with enough material for 8 to 10 episodes, then why not?
While I didn't hate the kill, it was literally the exact same kill from Halloween 6, right down to it being a terrible father figure. So let's talk about that kill for a second. So the Devon Sawa, the douchebag version, which the other one might be, we'll find out. He gets killed by, there's some stuff going on with the circuit breaker. There's wires that have been pulled down on the floor. Chucky comes up. The scene previous, he noticed that his whiskey bottle was empty. And then Chucky walks up and vomits like 19 gallons of vomit onto him and electrocutes him.
Maybe there are other whiskey bottles.
Yeah, exactly. This was my other criticism of the episode. I thought that the kill was too silly. Now, Don Mancini kind of has that kind of goofy sense of humor. We saw it full front in Seed, and we've seen it here and there. So I almost think that the kill would have worked better if he had literally just spit the alcohol out, a reasonable amount of alcohol out, and that was it. But the fact that Chucky was just going for like a slapstick vomit joke, that kind of killed the kill for me. Bryan,
because I liked the discovery by Jake of him. I thought that had quite a lot of atmosphere. So I like
that part of it. Yeah,
when we're seeing it from Jake's perspective and we're coming down the stairs and we see that kind of darkened cellar and then we've got like flashing light going. I liked that because you didn't know what we were going to see, and you draw attention out of horror by like extending the scene for as long as you can. So having him travel down the stairs and not knowing, are we going to see total like cremation here, or are we going to see like melted face or what? So I liked that tension of him going down the stairs and not knowing what we were going to see as we got around the corner. So it swings and roundabouts. Like you got that one kill that's got some really good stuff about the way it's shot, and then some not so good stuff in just how cheesy the setup is to it. But
CP, did you appreciate that kill, or are you on the same page? Or
same page. I thought it was a little excessive, but I'm sure they can't go too gory with it. So
it's sci-fi, so after 10 o'clock they're allowed to do full-on R rating. Apparently.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you got the Day of the Dead show coming.
I think more to the point is, again, because it isn't a movie, it's a TV series. Don't expect like 3-4 kills every episode. You're probably only going to get one kill an episode, if you're lucky. And,
I just got nervous with the implication with the cat, and I was like, are we going to neuter everything?
Pazuzu possesses Chucky. I mean, like, I understand, like, Chucky's electrocuted a lot of people in this franchise, so they were just trying to add a different element to it, because I think at least 4 or 5 of the people have been electrocuted. To me, it was just a little too far. I'm okay with him spitting it out or vomiting to do it, but it was played out to a goofy element.
Yeah, like team. Somebody said it earlier in the chat, like Team America.
Team America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget though, he is a plastic doll, so he doesn't
times.
have. So it's not going to be like, it's not going to come out in the same fashion, you know. And it's just to defend the scene, it's like it would be kind of like a little, yeah. It wouldn't be like, I don't know. Move on.
But would it be like, or like? So let's talk about Chucky specifically, because that was another thing that I was not necessarily worried about, but obviously Chucky's the titular character. Chucky is the one that we're all here to see.
Can I just? There's a comment there, and I just want to read it before we get to it.
Right.
Corey Novak, because that's something that really bugged me. Yeah, it was a bit unrealistic and ineffective when the police zipped up his dad in that body. That annoyed me. That annoyed the crap out of me. Why was that body bag not zipped up already? I was like, you've put him in the body. Yeah, you put him in the body bag downstairs, down in the cellar, but you've left the face bit open. Then you've carted it upstairs, put it down in front of the son and the brother so that you can see it, and then go on the face.
Maybe
Stupid.
he was an asshole. I don't know. But no, my wife literally at that scene, it was one of the few times she actually spoke during the premiere we were watching. And as soon as I zipped it up, she goes, "Well, that was fucked up." I was like, yeah, that was a little silly. Oh man, I'm glad you pointed that out. Mikey Hartley, I do feel that Don will be pushing a lot of his personal views throughout the series. Feel that Chucky works better through Tom Holland and others. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when you have an avenue to speak your views, I can't say you're wrong for doing it. It just depends on, if you say something that's going to offend people or something like that. But I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see if he wraps this up in a way to where it doesn't feel like I didn't pick up the atheism stuff, but then again, I didn't know that going in. So if I had known that, maybe I'd pick it up. So we'll see. We'll see.
The thing is,
Hopefully it's not too heavy-handed.
any show creator, any person on TV who runs a show, whether they admit it or not, they put their personal
you have
values
to
across.
You write what
Chris
you know.
Chris Carter, creator of the X-Files, he has a faith, and it's kind of just writ large throughout the X-Files. If you look in now, Frank Spotnitz, who's the other executive producer on that show, is an atheist. So the X-Files is one of those perfect shows where you've literally got the two people in charge have opposing views, and they constantly come out in the episodes, and that works really well. It doesn't bother me that an atheist gets to have the thing is, you laugh, but I have to kind of qualify this just in case people think, just Brian's got a faith, this guy's an atheist, so he's obviously going to be on the attack against him. That's not the case. One of my favourite writers, Alex Garland, is an atheist, and yet I get so much out of his work. It's just, it doesn't matter what your belief system is. What matters is, are you creating something that's challenging? Are you creating a piece of work that's starting conversation, that's getting people talking about whatever it might be you want to talk about? Doesn't matter that you have opposing views, just start a conversation. And I do feel like Mancini is making an attempt at that with this show. So obviously we're only one episode in, but
I don't think every writer weighs in on what their opinion on the world and religion.
Of course you do. How can you not? You're just a bad writer if you don't. If you don't have a opinion on something, if you don't have a point of view on something, then you can't write. You should know that as a stand-up. You put yourself into your comedy. There's no way you could. Yeah, but you can't help it. Yeah, exactly. You just said that you try not to, but you can't help it because you see things in the world that you want to discuss, whether it's things that need taking down a peg or two, or things that you just find stupid and need pointing out.
When I'm joking about porn, I have no thoughts on whether or not the porn is in a world where there's Catholicism or no God. Like it's just
because
porn.
you're talking about different things.
Right.
The things that it's still your personal views though. You're still putting yourself into it. You're still looking at the world from your perspective.
Did you hear what I said? Porn. I'm not writing about whether or not there's a God. I'm writing about porn. And,
I
and
know, but
unfortunately,
did you
God
hear
isn't
what I
present
said?
for that. Like your belief system
I'm
isn't
not- no,
present.
I'm
it's
not-
just
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
you-
get cum
no.
on my tits. That's it.
Oh, man. Not everybody's belief system is about God. It's not about like believing in God or atheism. They're not the only two perspectives in the world. But you have your own perspective that's got nothing to do with whether there's a God or not. But it's still your perspective. It's still your belief system that is channeled into what you write. And if you don't, then I would imagine you're a bad writer. And I've seen your comedy, and so I know you're not a bad writer. So it's just, I'm sorry, but it's just, if you don't, it's just fact. If a writer isn't putting something of themselves into their material, then they're not going to write something that anybody is going to want to watch or listen to.
This is the most Bryan versus CP we've gotten since that first 31 on 31 debrief. Fucking Friday the 13th 5 got brought up. Oh, man. We got one more super chat. Will Meister, I see what you're all saying, but remember Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy compared to that, Mancini's atheism was virtually non-existent in this. Well, that's also ramped up for comedic animated sake too. So I mean, like I said, I didn't see it, but then again, I'll watch the episode again, knowing that, and I'll see if I can pick up on some stuff.
Also, just don't forget that certain shows are written by teams of people. So you've got to look at, you've got to look at who the dominant writer is. Now, on this, Don Mancini is certainly credited as the solo writer, and he's definitely the spearhead behind Chucky. So, yeah, there is that to consider. You know, like you get loads of writers in the pot, they're all going to bring their own systems of belief or systems of outlook onto something. So
now back to Chucky. I'm going to push it over to to CP. As far as the doll, how the doll looked, how the animatronics and the CGI worked, how the voice acting, like how was Chucky to you in this first episode?
Awesome. I mean, if I can give anything a full thumbs up, it's Chucky. It's Brad Dourif's voicing of Chucky. The classic original look, like, yeah, there's nothing to complain about there. I mean, even right back to the battery reveal, like that was like, holy shit. Nice. He
said the same dialogue as the mom as well, where he's like, "Talk to me, damn it!" And then as soon as he went to go say the rest of the line, he bitch slapped him. I laughed at that part too. Like it was verbatim exactly how the mom said it.
Now, bitch.
Bryan, how was Chucky?
Great. Chucky was Chucky. Chucky was how Chucky should be. Star of the show. Give us more. Brad Dourif, fantastic.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, that was my biggest thing that I was worried about because, like I said, Cult, I didn't think the doll looked very good. I didn't think that the writing or the voice acting was all that great. I don't know. Something about it just felt off to me in that movie.
It got a little cheeky, too, when there was too many of them. Like, when they're, like, fucking with each other.
Here we go. The cadence of their voice didn't quite match what I expected from Chucky. Something about it in Cult was
it wasn't a good parable.
Are we going down a bad road?
I was just going to say it's a parable. You just didn't get the parable element of it, Cody. That's
a striking argument. So when I saw the trailer, it gave me a lot of faith because when they're going back to the classic good guy look from the first couple of movies, I thought that the doll, just the stationary doll, looked great. I thought that the animatronics, but it's probably got a little bit of CGI on it too, looked really good. Whenever, like, the first scene where he comes to life and he's like, "I'm Chucky, Heidi fucking ho," or whatever he says. I thought that looked really good because nowadays when they're starting to use CGI, they're relying less on that great animatronic work that the series was known for. So, the look of the doll was awesome. I thought the voice acting was top notch. I liked all the lines. We talked about a few of them. So, if one thing was done damn good in this episode, it was certainly Chucky. Yeah. Now we talked about it a little bit, but I'm going to bounce this over to CP again too, since you thought that there was way too much given away in this episode. What are you thinking we're going to get for the future of this show? Like from what they gave us in this first episode, if you were to write down what the rest of the episodes are from what you can tell, where are we going?
I mean, again, well, what I'm intrigued about is the dynamic. Like, there's certainly like this, dare I say, love story going on with him and the podcast kid, and how much Chucky plays into I mean, the name of the show is Chucky. So, like, how much is he going to play into this kid's personal life and what happens? And what are the rest of the characters going to do?
Brian, where do you expect the show to go from here?
Well, I think this is clearly a protege kind of thing. I think Chucky is trying to mold this kid. Otherwise, it'd have killed him by now, you know. And the whole jumping into his body is out of the question at this point. From what I can gather? I don't know. Maybe it's not, but it feels like, I don't know. Certainly he's not tried anyway. So if he's not trying to get into this guy's body and take over him, then he's going to try and mold him in his image. And I think at this point, from a character standpoint, the worst thing that Chucky could get this guy to do is kill the one that he loves. If you know, I don't know how much he can love him at this point. He doesn't really know him that well. Just listens to his podcast. But the biggest crime to get him to commit, the biggest thing that would cut deep and really turn him, is to get him to kill the podcast guy. So I see that as a possible eventuality. I see that as a choice at some point in the series, that Jake is going to be faced with the prospect of killing podcast guy or letting him live, and what he decides to do in that moment will be what determines the kind of man he's going to end up being. But
I will say that I think that what's her face, the aunt, her side piece has to be one of the characters from BOG, whether it be Jennifer Tilly or Dorif's daughter, Fiona Dorif, as whatever her name is in the series, or dare I say Kyle. Like I wouldn't bet on it, but I have this strong feeling that the side piece is somebody we know already.
Yeah.
You don't think it was the other Devon Sawa by any chance?
Ooh. Well, I hope it is, just to get more of that. That'd be nice.
Well,
So yeah, I'm kind of along.
The...
I'm kind of along the lines with you. It feels like if I didn't watch that thing at the end, I probably would have had a different outlook. But the fact that they're showing that Jake's going to be complicit in it to a degree really intrigues me. So I think that it's going to be him helping Jake get revenge on people. Maybe not necessarily killing them right off, but at least fucking with people in school. The bully, Lexi, all of that. His cousin, who he now lives with. That's going to be kind of the core storyline for an episode or two. And in the background, obviously, we've got, we didn't discuss it in full, but we had a guy call really quickly on an eBay inquiry. And it was, they didn't say it, they didn't show him or anything like that, but it's Alex Vincent. It's Andy. And so you got Andy and you've got Kyle that are trying to, get to where Jake is to stop it. And at some point, you're going to have the introduction of Tiffany and Nika Chucky that are going to be there trying to stop them. So all this stuff's going to converge on this little town. And I am curious. It's still the element of the show that I'm the most worried about, but I'm still very curious of what they're going to do as far as exploring the Charles Lee Ray origins, because the episode is bookended by this little dream sequence or a flashback.
I like that he dreams in 4x3 too.
Yeah, exactly. So
we're going to get more of them.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't be surprised if each episode is bookended, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. And they said something too. I don't know if it was like a radio. It was the podcast, and the podcast he said about there was a tragedy in Hackensack with the family, and that's what made the infamous serial killer. So we're gonna find out something. I just hope they don't try to make Chucky sympathetic. I hope that they don't give too many answers.
I think it's actually that I think the flashbacks are going to tie in with whatever is going on with Jake.
He has a mirror
episode
relationship. Yeah, I think that's good.
Like if you look at this one, there's clearly just from the flashbacks, there's like an attachment thing with the mother there. Like, we see Chucky as a child going to see his mother. The father isn't really in the picture with regards to that flashback. It's a very tiny flashback, just bookended. But I feel like there's going to be. I feel like we're going to get snippets of that throughout the series, and those flashbacks will kind of tie into whatever's going on with Jake. at that particular moment, and it'll kind of reveal how, in some ways, Chucky is able to relate to him and manipulate him and bring him on to his side, kind of thing. Because clearly Jake, we get a line from Jake where he literally tells his father, "You should have died in a car crash, not Mum." So.
McGillicuddy 25. I like the look of Chucky, but was I the only one who thought the animatronic doll near the end looked a little different than the toy version?
No, you could tell. You could tell that there's a different thing going on between
felt like there's a little bit of CGI involved there as well.
Possibly, yeah. There's definitely something different between like the stiff Chucky and the I've got to say something and I'm moving Chucky.
Yeah,
I mean you could tell.
A different model. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I don't want to keep Bryan too long. It looks like he's suffering. Nice tight little hour here. So overall, CP seems the most skeptical of all of us.
I'm
pretty
in for the ride.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're not. But he's the one who's least sold of all of us thus far. I'm on board with it. Bryan's on board with it. So we will see. I'm going to be doing these every single week, guys. So every single week we're going to get an edited review quickly after I watch the episode Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, provided that the guests that I have can make it, which should be fine, we're going to get one of these for every episode of the season. I'll get CP and Bryan on however many they want to be on, however many if they don't drop off the show at some point. But I do have a lot of really exciting guests lined up to join me throughout this series as well. So definitely, if you are a Chucky fan, I've reviewed all the films. I've ranked the films. I've ranked the kills. I've ranked Chucky's deaths. I've ranked the looks of the doll. This is a Chucky-centric horror channel sometimes. So hit the subscribe button.
He's ranked Chucky's underwear. He's ranked
the
hairstyles,
the facial expressions.
I've ranked every line in every movie individually.
The curses.
I've ranked my favorite freckles on his face. The links down below are for Bryan's channel, Bryan Lomax Movie Talk, as well as CP's channel, Willis Greedio. So be sure you subscribe over there as well. Bryan, what can we look forward coming from your channel here, aside from 31 on 31?
Oh, crap, I'm so loud.
You just dropped your Insidious ranking today. I know that.
Yeah, I dropped an Insidious ranking today because I've just wrapped up my reviews for that. I've just done a lot of Bond stuff at the moment, ranked all 26 Bond movies. I'm tempted to just do a few more Bond-related videos at the moment while the...
You could rank the Bonds, rank the actors, and...
Well, I was going to do the actors. I was going to do the Bond themes songs. I was going to rank the Bond theme songs.
Deep cuts. Rank the Bond girls.
With the copyrights on those.
Yeah.
Just sing them.
But yeah,
just sing them off key.
No, I'm sure before we get to 31 and 31, I will have had some kind of ranking, maybe on the Exorcist films and maybe on whatever we've got left. I've already done an Omen ranking, so I ain't revisited.
It hasn't altered. Omen 4 is not your favorite anymore.
No, well, that's top of 31 on 31. It's an absolute unadulterated classic. I've got a video essay coming actually. Why Omen 4 is the best sequel ever made. So
must be a collab.
Yeah, with drum drums. Right. Okay.
Ooh, that's not what I meant, but that's fine. We can go there too. CP, what can we expect to come out of Willis Greedio?
It's been up for a while, but if you want a Halloween Kills review, it's I've seen it. I'm done. There's that. A lot of 31 and 31 stuff that I'm still catching up with everything that we have in that series, and I don't know because this is all pending on me winning on a camera. So there's a lot of stuff. Who would like that? Is Baise Moi, which is translates to "fuck me" from French to English.
That's sometimes how I feel when I'm watching your videos.
Yeah.
So for CP's review of "fuck me," click a link down below.
That might be getting you.
Bryan, when do you think you'll be able to see Halloween Kills? Optimistically.
I am hoping to see it Friday night or Friday daytime at some point. It
Okay,
depends how
so
I'm feeling, because if I
we'll-
still look like this on
Yeah,
Friday, it's
for
not
sure,
happening.
for sure. So we'll talk off camera, but I'm hoping we're going to be able to do an autop stream spoiler the week after it comes out. So I'm glad you'll be able to see it. I'm going to be seeing it at 1 a.m. So I've got a long night ahead of me.
Coffee, lots of coffee.
Yes, sir. I don't drink coffee, so I'm screwed.
Oh,
Anyway,
meth?
thank you guys so much for joining us. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing these every single week on this channel, talking about Chucky, and then you got a whole bunch of Halloween content coming to you over the next week or so. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We will see you next time. Peace.